What's going on, guys? The Bodhi Bros are back. I'm Bodhi Ray.
And I'm John with a J. And this is season 2, a continuance with a brief time off episode. We think number 5, but who knows? Who cares? It's just another episode.
It's irrelevant.
It's absolutely irrelevant. Might be 40 seconds long, might be 40 minutes long. We don't know. We're just going to do the thing. And today's theme, today's title is are you on the right path? And what the hell does that mean? Stay tuned.
Well, I think that's something that, at least most people ask themselves, people who are on the path of self-development, self-improvement, or a spiritual path. If that question comes along, am I on the right path?
Right.
So if someone were to ask me if I am on the right path or if they're on the right path, what I would do is I would direct them back to the person who's asking the question. And I would say, who is asking the question, am I on the right path? I would want you to direct your awareness back towards that person, that awareness.
So, okay, let's play this out then. I want to understand this. If
Okay.
I ask you, we're just having a casual conversation.
Right.
So, Ray, do you think you're on the right path? You would then suggest, well,
if you were to ask me,
I'm asking you. Yeah.
Okay, am I in the right? If you ask me, you're asking me like, hey, am I on the right path?
No. I'm asking Ray. I'm asking Bodhi Ray. Is he? So you.
Am I on the right path?
Yeah.
Then I would say yes, I am on the right path, because there really is no such thing as a right or wrong path. And the person that would be asking that is coming up with that question
is me.
Would be like, or if you're asking the question, that would come from the ego. That would come from the judgment of the ego, because the ego would have some sort of idea that there is a right or wrong path.
So you said you would tell that person.
Yeah, I would direct awareness back to the person asking the question.
Which is me.
Right. Well, yeah, but you're asking me if I think I am on the right path. And I would say yes. Now, if you're asking me if I thought you're on the right path. If you came to me and said, hey, am I on the right path, Bodhi Ray? And I would be like, well, who's asking the question? Where is that question?
Okay, now I understand what you're. Okay.
Right. So that I would tell you to direct your awareness back to the one who's asking the question, towards that, and also why, and ask that awareness, why are you asking that question? Because that implies that there is a right path and there's a wrong path. And the fact that you're even asking that question seems to be coming out of some sort of judgment that you maybe have some sort of belief that you're not where you're supposed to be. And everybody is exactly where they're supposed to be at this moment.
Right. So is there a better path? Or is it just a different path?
Well, I would say that there is no, like I said before, there is no wrong path. There's only a right path. And sometimes we come to that question because it could be because we think that our lives should be somehow different than what they are right now. You may think that, I should be more successful than I am right now, or maybe I should be enlightened and I'm not, or I shouldn't have maybe some sort of feelings of resistance, or some sort of feelings. Maybe I'm not totally healed yet, where I feel like I should be. I should be over this trauma that I had when I was young, and maybe you still have some of those feelings, and you think, wow, why am I not there yet? So you have this idea in your mind that you're somewhere that you're not where you're at right now. Mm-hmm. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can totally hear you. You totally froze, but we could hear you.
Okay, so
we'll just fight through it.
So that's where I would direct your awareness back towards the one asking the question, and then kind of come up with why you have that question in the first place. Maybe you have some sort of ideal in your mind of where you think you ought to be versus where you actually are. I know sometimes too, when I was starting this path, I would meet a lot of people who had a lot of spiritual powers. People who are psychic, people who are mediums, people who are healers, people who had these crazy mystical experiences. And I would judge myself. I would compare myself to these people, and I would think man, these people are these people are up here. I must be down here.
They're on the elevated path, man.
Oh yeah, these people are.
Path.
Yeah, like these people, man. These people are like mediums. They're talking to dead people. They could see auras, and they could have all these like, talking, having all these out of body experiences and all this like cool stuff. And it's like, and sometimes we hear that about people, and we kind of put those people on a pedestal, and we think like, man, I'm like, how come I must be doing something wrong because I'm not having those same experiences? When some people are really just hooked up that way. Some people just have more mystical experiences than other people. Some people have some talents in some areas, and some people don't. And what I realized is like when I got to know some of these people, I learned that they weren't really any more, I don't know, I hate to say like judge like enlightened or awake than anyone else is. It was just that they had these abilities that I didn't have. And it wasn't, and they didn't, and I think I was kind of just putting them on a pedestal, which they didn't really, by putting them on a pedestal, I'm putting myself down.
Yeah.
I'm making them more worth, my self-worth as compared to theirs. And it was just totally not true. I mean, I would see them, struggling with the same sort of stuff and with relationships and getting angry at people on Facebook over stupid stuff. And it's like, oh man, I thought this person was a little more, I don't know, elevated, I guess, because, they had these certain powers and abilities, and maybe they had some kind of, cool spiritual name or, something, or they could talk to crystals or whatever. And so sometimes, sometimes I think what I'm trying to get to is that we compare ourselves to other people, and we think that, we kind of judge ourselves as either successful or a failure based on that comparison, and it's not really true,
And then what it sounds like is we miss our entire experience, whatever that may look like on our personal path, because we're looking at the paths of others versus the one that we're standing on top of in that moment. So being in the now, being present, and being grateful and completely aware of the soil, the gravel, the sand beneath our feet, versus looking toward the horizon or greener pastures of better paths or different paths. Now, how does one discern between not getting caught up in that, but also wanting to, better their lives or more enrich their lives with different experiences? And essentially, I mean, I think we've all navigated down different paths and have aspired to turn down different avenues and stuff to bring us to the people that we are today. So what's the missing link there between am I on the right path, or
and still having desires, not still having goals, you mean?
right, or how do I get on a different, like say I'm stuck in the same job, same relationship, none of which are exciting me right now.
So you maybe feel like kind of stagnant.
Right. There we go.
Like that. Well, first of all, I think there's some things you could do to kind of like, even though, like I said before, there's no one on the wrong path. You're always on the right path. Certain things you could do. You could ask yourself, are you being authentic? Am I being very truthful to who I really am? Now, sometimes we may think that, we might find like, what? I really don't like this job I'm in. I don't like this relationship I'm in. This isn't really bettering me. Maybe it did at one point, but it's like me, are you really being true to yourself?
So
is this what you,
go ahead.
Is this what you really want? Are you doing, where is this desire coming from? Are you trying to compensate for something maybe you didn't heal yet? Maybe you had some self-worth issues, and you think maybe having some sort of status at this job will kind of give you that sense of self-worth, and it's just not, maybe it's not really doing it for you, and you're like, man, this isn't really what I wanted. This isn't fulfilling me.
So the evaluation of, am I on the right path, or am I on a path that is ultimately healthy for me and contributes to the betterment of myself, my family, others that I interact with, et cetera, et cetera. It's more of it's an entirely internal thing versus an external.
Right, right.
So kind of like echoing on sentiments of previous episodes, where like we got to stop going out and reaching for answers and looking to change things and shift things, and we can do that by going in. And so
right.
as we do this examination of, I feel like I'm stagnant, or I feel like this is not healthy, whether it's a relationship that's violent, abusive, or not fulfilling, a job very much the same, or anything really, we want to say, ask the questions that you're asking. Like, why am I in this job? What do I get out of this job? Why do I keep attracting the same jobs / relationships? And what is the pattern? What is the trauma that is perpetuating the cycle of these type of magnetic experiences? And then by doing that work, what I'm hearing you say is that other paths may present themselves for me to choose.
Right. You could also ask yourself, what would someone do who loved themselves unconditionally? What would that person do?
At whatever point of whatever path you're on. You just
right. You could do that. Hey, how would somebody who loved themselves completely, unconditionally, be in this moment?
And then to me, it sounds like magically maybe various alternate routes may present themselves. Because if you ask that question, you fully connect with that question, but you're stuck in the mud of this present path, it might go, a light to the left, a road to the right. And it's like, oh, wow, I'm going to quit my job and become a singer. And I'm going to leave peacefully and respectfully this relationship and be single for a while until I've fully learned to love myself more and want to attract the very same in a partner that I'm learning to do for myself. Yada, yada, blah, blah, blah. Spiritual mumbo jumbo, fill in the blanks.
Right. Yeah. So there's different questions you could ask yourself. Am I being authentic? Am I being true to myself? What would someone do who love themselves unconditionally do?
Right.
You could ask yourself, how am I unenlightening myself right now?
Ouch.
So that's in a way that's kind of flipping it. That's almost saying like, how am I not loving myself right now?
Right. Because you said, because I had a little question to your statement about you're always on the right path. And I feel like if I'm a listener out there right now, I'm like, well, what about the one guy that kills bunny rabbits for sport, or that's using, some type of really, really harmful synthetic drug that's ripping their bodies and their families.
Right.
Like what about that?
Well, I think it's because we can't see the whole path. We're only seeing part of it, and we're judging that parts, which all of us have karma that we have to go through. All of us have to have certain trials and lessons that we have to learn. And so we're only seeing a snippet of that person's whole complete life. And we're forming a judgment saying, well, that person's on the wrong path. And there could be some validity to some of that. Maybe that person's causing harm to themselves, harm to others, and maybe they haven't built enough awareness yet to see that harm, to see that danger that they're causing. But, in the big picture of it, we don't really know how it's all going to play out because we're kind of seeing it through the lens of our separateness, our individuality. And we can't see that through the whole scope of, we're looking at it from kind of ground level and street level view on Google Maps instead of the overhead view.
So if you're sitting at a bar and some guy just looks over to you and you look over at him and he has something that you see is stuck right here and you're like, what's up? Because he wants to share something. He's like, hey brother, I don't know, thanks for asking. I guess I'm just feeling, I'm using a shit ton of heroin. It's ripping my family apart. I'm broke. We're about to get evicted from our home. I abuse my kids and I shoot bunny rabbits for sport. Am I on the wrong path?
Well, I would say the fact that you're asking that question implies that you believe that you are on the wrong path. And I think that there's something going on that you're some sort of awareness that has built for you to come to me for that kind of question. And I would say, what do you think?
You know what? I don't know. That's why I'm asking you, because like some days, I mean, the heroin feels great. I love shooting my gun, and my kids, you know, they'll be fine. They're kids. They're resilient. Blah blah blah. I don't know, dude. You know, I'm a bad drunken heroin bunny shooting addict. But it feels good. That's why I'm at the bar with you, brother. We're free. This is, you know, we can do whatever we want in this country. And I don't know, is there a better path? I haven't found it yet. So now I'm getting belligerent drunk. And but you're still my Bodhi bro. What would you tell me?
Well, I would ask you. Basically, I would lean the discussion towards, are you fulfilled in life? Towards fulfillment. Are you at peace with your decisions that you've made with your children? Do you feel that your choices come from love?
So you could spin that. What would someone who unconditionally loves themselves do sitting in your seat?
Right. So
do you know?
I don't think you can really change anybody.
Right. And
I think that you can. So if that person doesn't want to change, there's really nothing you can do, except what I would just do is this offer. I would hold space for that person and hold, open my heart towards that person and give that person whatever they needed in that moment.
Right. And by doing that, maybe in turn, you're creating a whole new path for them to either choose to explore or choose to deny.
Didn't you go through something like that where somebody said something to you like that?
Yeah. The old man on the bench. He was angry. I just asked him what he was angry about, and that just changed his whole world. He broke down and started crying because that, like you said, that's all most people, all they need is, they don't need advice. They don't, and especially if they don't ask for it, don't give it to them. But they just need a loving presence and
that's what changed me. That's what Ram Dass did for me.
Yeah,
it changed my life. He didn't give me some kind of secret teaching.
Right.
He didn't give me some secret some mantra. He didn't tell me that I needed to be different than what I am, or didn't tell me to change anything. All he was doing was just loving me. Was just loving me, and that's what was kind of that's what woke me up. That was like that love, that pure unconditional love and that presence, and that I'd never experienced before, and that's what just opened me up. And
so it sounds like the resounding echo that I'm hearing in the background of my mind's soundtrack is, if you want to change the path you're on, love the one you're already on. Right?
Yeah.
So if you want to change the path you're on, you can't really do that until you love where you're already at. Right? So
acceptance.
Right. And any type of so I'm on this path. It's not really going to change sustainably. It might be a pseudo shifting of sorts, or a temporary distraction from the path that's going to lead you right back to the same old path. Because if you don't, address the patterns, address the traumas, and do some true rich deep healing, sure, you could take the right or left turn, but it's going to circle back up, and you're going to be on that same path and that same job again with a different boss, a different company,
right?
Different male or female in a different relationship, but the same kind of result.
It might just be more scenic.
Right. So really just loving the path you're on so that you could fully understand why you're on that path, or why you're stuck on this path, and bringing that, it's that phrase that I hear you say a lot, and sometimes just in the normal course of my day, I'll hear it and I'll thank you for it. I'll just do a cosmic shout out. I'm like, thanks, Ray. And you say bring loving awareness to. I hear you say that a lot.
Yeah.
Bring
Yeah.
awareness to that, and you can apply that in many regards. And so when you're struggling with anything, just bring loving awareness to it, whether it's a physical pain, a relationship pain, anything really. It's very transformative when you do that.
Definitely, 100%. So.
P.S. Fuck the path. No, I'm just kidding. Why is there got to be a path, man? Why can't it be an ocean? Why can't it be?
Right.
Why can't it be?
Well, in Zen, they call it the pathless path.
I like
they
that.
say there really is no path because it's always right here. It's always right now.
Yeah.
And really, there's nowhere. Who you are is already the enlightened. You're already enlightened. You already are perfect. And the core of who you are already is all that. So it's nothing that you have to become. There's no path to become. There's no path to become what you already are.
Right. It's when you leave the pathless path to add on like the spoilers and the stereo system and all the extras that you deviate from that enlightened state, because
it's almost like a dog chasing its own tail, and then eventually a dog, let's say you do end up catching your tail and you bite it and you're like, oh, what I was really chasing was myself.
Right. That's perfect.
All I was really chasing is my own authenticity.
There it is. And I was headed down a really silly car souping up a car path, where I'm like, look, the Toyota is perfect as it is, and it'll deliver you for hundreds of thousands of miles. You start trying to enlighten that automobile and put the neon lights on the bottom to make it brighter and make it better, and you add the turbo pack. Next thing you know, the thing's starting to break down, man, because you're putting extra burdens on a machine that's already perfect as it is.
Right.
And that's not to say, we can't wear nice clothes and do nice things and have fancy things.
It depends if it's coming out of love or it's coming out of resistance.
Right.
So if you're trying to change it because you resist yourself because you think, oh, I'm not perfect, I need to make myself better, that's acting out of resistance, and that's just going to cause more resistance and more blah, blah, blah. Where if you instead of you're like, you know what, I love myself, you know what, I'm going to treat myself I deserve to, to wear nice stuff because I am worthy of it. That's a whole different energy.
Would you call that the path of least resistance? I'm so stupid, man, but I love it. It's great. That's it, though. Isn't that what that is? I mean,
yeah, and that's really what it's kind of really what enlightenment is just being with what is, being with the totality of what is.
I don't know. Do we need to do any more episodes? Really, isn't it just like?
You think we're done with our path? we came to the finish line.
This is the last episode, folks. Every episode brings us to the same place. Bring loving awareness to your resistance. The end. Whatever your resistance may be to whatever subject, person, place, thing, whatever.
Yeah, the titles may change, but it's the same show.
I mean, have you got it yet, folks? We're gonna do it every week until you get it, and we'll keep speaking to more and more folks over the years about the same freaking thing. You can't hear me? Is that what you're saying? Well, I bet the audience can hear me. You'll come back. Let me blab for a few minutes as we've lost Ray's audio. He'll be back any moment, folks. But we have, speaking of technical difficulties.
Okay,
you're back.
I hear you now.
So I was telling the audience, speaking of technical difficulties, we experienced a very sad downtime in the history of the Bodhi Bros. We had been going strong for what my guess is 24 or so weeks straight.
Yeah.
Roughly,
yeah.
Right? Every week, dedicated, committed to putting out one episode for each other and for all the 26 or 7 odd countries out there and all the listeners.
Thank you, everyone.
Yep. Thank you. And the laptop, my laptop, died. This very laptop that I'm using right now died. It crapped out, hit the shitter, felt like there was cement an entire fleet of cement trucks that like just backed up to my house and poured cement all over my house and not locked me outside, but permanently sealed me outside my own home. Couldn't get in. Fortunately, my brother came to the rescue eventually and was able to salvage the laptop, at least for now. Fingers crossed, we're doing well.
Yeah.
And pardon the noise outside. They're making furniture in the driveway across the street. It's quite inspiring, but it's getting a little loud. Anywho, we're back. We have the laptop is back. We have an episode that we're calling the Lost episode. That it was on. What was the title?
It was the Law of Attraction, I think.
Yeah, manifesting.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's been so long. It's been weeks now because we thought that maybe we could do the episode. We'd do the next episode on using my phone, or I have an iPad. But there's so many tricks and twists and bullshitteries attached to transferring a file X amount of size from an iPad to YouTube. And then when we finally were able to do it, we realized that we had an echo in that recording. So it's the lost episode. It is available. It's unlisted on YouTube, but you can't find it yet because we haven't released it because there's a really just hard to handle echo in the background. But there's some seriously potent content there on the law of attracting.
I wonder if we could could we edit that? Like just like maybe do like a couple like a 10-minute out of that or something, you think? Or?
It might be. Look, I'm
and just if you listen to it and found like a good meaty part of it that's like a good juicy like something kind of, part of it and just make
yeah. That's a great point. Maybe like 2 or 3 minutes versus listening to 40 minutes of echo.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's a good point. I'm also looking into maybe there's third-party software where I can clean up the echo in it. It was just more pressing to get the laptop running so we can get another, recording going. So that's done. Folks, if you want to donate laptops, if you want to donate speakers or equipment because you have them, you have extra, we're open to donations, folks. Financially, hardware, speaking,
yes.
Otherwise. Help the Bodhi Bros stay in business because it was close. I was getting a little frustrated.
I was getting frustrated.
And I mean, this is our weekly thing. And Ray was sending messages.
I had withdrawal. I had Bodhi withdraw.
And I was like, the laptop's not good, Ray. Stop asking. And I'm like, no, that wasn't what I was saying. I was like, just really sad that I felt like handcuffed. I'm like, it's just trying to put out some good content. I just need a device to record and post. That's it. Nothing fancy, but we're back. And Ray wants to pull a card. It's about that time. So
we got the roomy deck. So pull some of these out. So let's see what we got. This is for the collective.
Bum, bum, bum.
We have Blessings of Zarha. I'll look that up.
What number is the card, Bodhi Ray?
39.
39. Love me some power 3. Ooh, baby. 39.
39. Okay. I'm just gonna like kind of paraphrase some of this. This oracle comes with special guidance for you. You are being given a blessing of Zara, of radiance, of brightness. This blessing has a purpose. It is to clear out that which would obstruct your full unfoldment to support the divine jewel of your soul in shining. You are being given an opportunity supported by life, by the earth, by the grace of the divine beloved, to shed toxins from your being. These may be physical and they may be equally of emotional, psychic, or psychological origin. You are encouraged to complete the sacred honoring ritual to stay adequately hydrated and to be moderate rather than excessive in your approach. This oracle also brings you the message that if something appears to be leaving your life, even something painful to release, it is because it is no longer healthy for you or no longer supporting the of life for you. So a lot of letting go, sounds like. Blessings, you know. This kind of goes along with being on a path. You know, sometimes we're on a path and sometimes we lose something on our path that we thought was of value. Sometimes a relationship ends that we thought that was going to be long term, or some sort of life-changing moment.
Yeah, it's resoundingly clear to me. It was, for me personally, I would say that, always listening to the signs, the symbols, the conversations between loved ones and strangers. Just as important are their messages when they come to us. And a lot of times we just kind of dismiss them. But today, my partner had said something about time to give up the bread. And she didn't say it in a mean way or whatever. And she wasn't saying, like, hey, fatty, time to give up the bread. But the path of carbohydrates and the relationship of carbs and I definitely needs to, I need to walk down another path, man. And it's an old familiar friend, but it's starting to hurt me. Right?
You know, I did, it's weird talking about like food. I just started meal prepping and bringing I said, you know what? It's time to stop being a bitch and stop being, and I realized and I was inspired by my girlfriend too. And, she meals preps. She does a lot of the chicken and veggies and stuff. So you know what? Because I feel I always tell myself, I need to start eating better. I see her bringing stuff to work, stop eating pizza at work. And, we have a little cafeteria.
So easy. It's
so easy. I'm like, you know what though? I need to it's time to man up. So I bought 2 big bags of frozen chicken breasts. I bought the big bag of veggies, and I went out and I bought one of those plastic Snapware food and containers. I said, you know what? I gotta make changes. You know what? And I know it's what it is. It's always getting started. I know once I get started, once I start doing it, it's gonna be fine. Yeah. So I said, you know what? Stop being a bitch, man up, and that's what I did. So now I've been I pulled out this old George Foreman grill that I haven't used in years, and every day before work or the night before, I put a big chicken breast on there and I cook it up, put it in the container, grab some frozen veggies, and I fill a container up with those, and I've been taking it to work.
Smart. And the diabolical thing there too is they make that fucking pizza or whatever you grab in that little food court inexpensive too.
So it's $2 for a big piece. Yeah.
It fills you up and it's warm and it feels good, and you didn't spend you've spent a fraction of what you spent on all this chicken and vegetables or whatever. But look, that's an investment in self-love. I applaud you for taking that big step, because that's the difficult step. A, it costs more money. B, so much more time for prep. No, but it isn't an astronomical amount, but we make it.
No, and that's the thing. I have the time. I have the time to do it. I'm just making excuses. I'm just I don't know. It's and it's but then, sometimes I'd bring a lunch to work sometimes, but it would never, it'd get boring, or I would forget. And it's I just got to do it. I just got to get the chicken breast. I got to get the veggies, and I just got to start doing it and quit making excuses and just man up and just do it. Yeah, I have the time. There's absolutely zero reason why I shouldn't be doing this.
Yeah. There's zero reason why every week we go to the grocery store, I grab the same bag of Publix hamburger buns that they're really good, man. And I look at them, I'm like, there's 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 8 in a package, and I'm like, there's 8 sandwiches right there. Ba-boom! And it's so easy. You just grab the bag of bread, and there's that instant feeling of these are 8 little meals for me that are going to fill me up and make me happy. And I don't have to worry about this, that. I can focus on the other things, whatever. And really, there's so many better options for me at this juncture of my life that would actually take less time, celery and hummus. you know, a fresh salad or whatever to prep. Then with a sandwich, because there's layers to a sandwich, or it would take equal, you know, equivalent amount of time. So I appreciate the card as a stamp on, especially the high. I really connect with the hydration part because there's a lot of liquids. Not that I'm going to go on a liquid diet or anything like that. Any lifestyle changes, I always want to be healthy and sustainable. But I definitely have a lot of, I would say, not entirely abandoned, but neglected self-loving practices like drinking more tea, and all the wonderful medicinal concoctions that can come with a fresh pot of tea or a cup of tea, clipping some basil from the garden, some an array of different herbs that we just grow in the backyard, or that I could buy at a store. Then there's also a sulfur supplement that I should take every day because our diets are very much void of.
I've been doing oil of oregano.
That's great. We get a very, very, very high grade essential oil from Rocky Mountain Oils. Great company, by the way, if you ever want to take essential oils internally versus just using them in a diffuser or topically. Rocky Mountain Oils, good stuff. We get our oregano oil from them. Dude, Ray, when I feel the slightest microscopic tickling or, whoa, I feel a little tight, or like is something, or I know I was exposed to someone that had something or whatever, one drop in a full glass of water, one drop. Sometimes it comes out fast and you get two and it'll blow your fucking mind.
When I did it's liquid and it comes a little like the, like the way you call it, like the beaker, the little.
Oh, yeah, a little dropper.
The dropper, the big thing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, I didn't. You're supposed to I pulled the whole thing up and I just squirted it on my tongue like 50 doses.
Oh my
dude,
God.
I was like, oh my God, my mouth was just on fire, and I thought, oh my God, what did I just do? Like, was this? I didn't even know this was supposed to be. Is this edible? Like, I look at the thing, I'm like, my mouth was just.
You basically ate a gummy bear filled with napalm. I mean, that's what you're like, yeah.
It just, my whole mouth was just on fire.
Alive after that, I know what one drop does when I drink it diluted in an entire glass of water.
Imagine just doing the whole dropper, like a whole drop full under your tongue.
Might have some permanent damage there, but yes, all these things, folks, connect.
I was burping up oregano for days.
Oh my God, you probably smelled like a wonderful salad.
Oh
yeah. Connect with your local apothecaries, your herbalists, your permaculturists, all those folks that are really deeply rooted in the practices of living off the land organically and sustatably.
If you want to be on the right path.
Yes, dude, jump on that path, man, with the witches and the sorcerers and those people that make those concoctions. Fire ciders this time of year. That's one to look up. Look up fire cider. That's seriously cool shit. I know you just had an experience with some hottie toddy medicine, Ray. So.
Right. Thank you. That was good.
Right. I mean, and that's it's beverage. There's so much to be had in hydrating ourselves with the rainbow of what's available out there, man. I get excited about it. And so thank you for the card.
You're making me thirsty, man.
Yes. Well, dude, I'm gonna pound some beverage after this session. I usually bring tea and or water to our podcast, but today I was like, I don't need it. And as soon as we started, I was like, Ray, I need my tea and my water. He's like, go get it. And I'm like, fat man, do without it. Right now, I'm all like, where's my tea? Where's my water? See, we need to hydrate. It's that important, folks. It's that important. Yep. So there's another episode. We did it.
Yes.
Hopefully this recorded. Looks like, yeah, it's recorded. It says recording. So, we'll see if we can get it transferred to YouTube, get it on all the platforms. I believe we're almost in 30 countries now, Ray. So that's stoked. We're coming up on a milestone. We're at 986 total plays on Anchor. That doesn't include YouTube, Facebook, or otherwise. So we're over 1,000. Definitely over 1,000. And Yes, I cashed out our first our payday on Anchor. We've made $10.
Yes.
So Ray and I are each going to have $5 to spend, and we'll talk about this on either the next episode or the episode after that. We're gonna do something really special. I like one of your ideas, Ray, but don't share it right now. You know, remember the?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's a really. I don't know if you're gonna do that, but that's awesome. We're gonna take $5 each and do something super special with it, and then talk about it on one of the episodes. So Ray, I requested our first $10 from Anchor.
First of May.
Yes, it should take another day or two, and then I will PayPal you the $5.
All right.
About that offline, and then a week or two from now, we'll talk about what extraordinary thing we did with $5. Trust me, you can do a lot with $5. There's a period of time that no matter how much money you gave me, and I'm still kind of scratching it at that status right now, but you can add a zero to it. Because so, for instance, if you give me $5, it felt like $50 because I had such minimal funds at my dispensal, potato tongue, whatever. Something. And so yeah, man, $5 can go a long way. And
$5 foot long.
Hell, well, you just ruined it. But but for some people, that could be the greatest joy of their life. Get a $5 Subway foot long, and choke on some poisonous lunch meat. We love you, Subway. Anyway, what do we got? I think that's it, man.
I think we got it. We done.
And we did a really shitty commercial for Subway. You're welcome. All right, folks. Until next
time. All right.
I'm John with a J.
I'm Bodhi Ray.
And
we out.
We out.